Now that we've laid a foundation, let's go deeper into the revelation of the Ekklesia. So far, we have learned that Peter was the first person to receive the revelation that Jesus is the Christ, the Anointed One, and the Son of the living God. We also learned that this revelation came from heaven. We learned that while Peter means small stone, the rock or boulder that Jesus will build his ecclesia on is the rock of revelation. We learned that the first revelation and foundation of our faith is the revelation of who Jesus is. Then continuing with brick by brick of revelation, Jesus is building a spiritual structure called the Ekklesia. Now, let's review Matthew 16:13 through 18 again. Now, when Jesus came into the district of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say that the Son of Man is?" And they said, "Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and others Jeremiah or one of the prophets." He said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" Simon Peter replied, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." And Jesus answered him, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my ecclesia, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it." So we understand that the ecclesia is built upon revelation knowledge that God has hidden for his children, and that as we grow in the knowledge of God, both we and his body are built up. As this happens, Jesus is able to build what he is really after, that is, heaven's ecclesia on earth. So we understand historically that Rome authorized ecclesias in different colonies and territories in order to enforce the colonization process, to make that distant territory look exactly like and bring glory to Rome. Therefore, the ecclesia was empowered to make laws that would aid in transforming that distant territory into the splitting image of Rome. This involved introducing the Roman language, politics, legal system, culture, architecture, sports, fashion, and so much more. In other words, the ecclesia was charged with promoting, legislating, and therefore duplicating Roman lifestyle and culture in the territory or distant province. So when Jesus said, "Upon this rock of revelation, I will build my ecclesia," the disciples understood exactly what he was saying because they were living under the Roman colonial system. They fully understood that he was building something that was governmental and not religious. They understood that he wanted them to be his ecclesia that would represent his kingdom on earth. Just as an ecclesia in Corinth, for example, would have represented Roman law and life in the city of Corinth. Jesus wanted his disciples to be heaven's ecclesia on earth that would represent the interests of his kingdom. Now, the next point to understand is that just as Rome had many colonies and territories during the height of their empire, which would have required the need for an ecclesia in each of those territories, likewise, heaven has many ecclesias all around the earth. In every city, town, and village, there is at least one, if not multiple, ecclesias that are tasked with representing heaven on earth by invading society and the culture with the message of the kingdom. You and I are called to be a part of heaven's ecclesia on earth. But in order to be a part of it, you must enter into the kingdom. This requires realigning yourself with people who think in line with where you're going as it relates to the kingdom and the ecclesia. Now, please understand that nothing is more important and significant to Jesus than his ecclesia on earth. Ephesians 1:19 through 23, the Message Bible. Oh, the utter extravagance of his work in us who trust him. Endless energy, boundless strength. All this energy issues from Christ. God raised him from death and set him on a throne in deep heaven, in charge of running the universe, everything from galaxies to governments, no name and no power exempt from his rule. And not just for the time being, but forever. He is in charge of it all, has the final word on everything. And at the center of all this, Christ rules the Ekklesia. The Ekklesia, you see, is not peripheral to the world. The world is peripheral to the Ekklesia. The Ekklesia is Christ's body, in which he speaks and acts, by which he fills everything with his presence. So the Ekklesia is at the center of everything that Jesus is doing in the earth today. All his plans, his purpose, his agenda, in one way or another, involves the Ekklesia. So don't you think it's high time that we align ourselves with what our King is doing? Don't you think it high time for us to cleanse our minds of religious ideologies or worldly ways of thinking so that we can embrace kingdom ideology and become a contributing part of heaven's ecclesia on earth? Well, that's going to do it for me today. I invite you to visit our website and join our HeavenCulture community so you'll be kept up to date with everything that we'll be doing in the future by giving us your name and email. Once again, thanks so much for your time. I look forward to continuing this journey with you.